Once General Zia was interviewed by Anthony Mascarenhas, and he talked about the majors, Major Farouk and Major Abdul Rashid. So he was saying that those majors are being used by Mushtaq for his personal benefit or for his political benefits, and he doesn't care if they get destroyed in between and if their professional life is compromised. According to General Ziaur Rahman, it was quite uncomfortable situation that both the majors, they were still serving in the army, like they were formally in the army, yet out of the chain of command. It was uncomfortable situation all around. Here were two majors still formally within the army, yet outside its discipline and chain of command, with powerful armed and artillery units at their disposal. These were General Ziaur Rahman's views about both the majors. In the end of September, a young infantry officer was caught. He was trying to subvert lancers who were guarding the President House. And when this matter was reported to Farouk and Rashid, they interrogated him, and then they found out that it was ordered by Khaled Mosharraf, Brigadier Khaled Mosharraf, who was heading the infantry unit by that time. So Major Farouk and Major Abdul Rashid, they took this matter with evidence to Chief of Army Staff General Ziaur Rahman, and General Ziaur Rahman's response was, "I would look into it." That is the thing which makes this guy, General Ziaur Rahman, quite weird. In certain situations, he never make a commitment, and his statements most of the times used to be ambiguous. So in this matter, even at this point, he did not say yes or no or he would do something. He just said he would look into it. By the end of October 1975, Mostaq Ahmad, General Osmani, General Khalil, Farouk, Rashid, all of them, they knew that something is going to happen. There is some disturbance in the cantonment. They were convinced that a coup was imminent, but they were not sure that who is behind it. There were opposite opinions. Some of them, they believed it can be General Ziaur Rahman, while others believed that it's Khaled Mosharraf, Brigadier Khaled Mosharraf, who is planning the coup. They have been having several discussions on it to find out that what's going on in the cantonment and if there is any possible coup against the government of Mushtaq, which was supported by Major Farouk and Major Abdul Rashid. Now at this point, these discussions were going on. General Osmani and Major Farouk, Major Abdul Rashid, Mushtaq, they were all in President House, Banga Bhaban. After having all those meetings and discussions, they all went back that night. Major Abdul Rashid and Major Farouk were residing in the President House, so they also went to their rooms. Suddenly, a police officer, he approached Major Abdul Rashid and reported him that the infantrymen who were guarding the President House, they are suddenly vanished. All of them left the President House. Now this thing was quite alarming because the infantry unit was under Brigadier Khaled Mosharraf. So all of them were gone. No one was there to guard President House. Now, Major Abdul Rashid, he informed Farouk and also the president that something is going to happen. All the infantrymen are gone. So they ordered the armored corps and the artillery unit to take the positions. By now they knew that there is a military coup on the way. So they started taking their positions to defend the President House. After taking all the measures and taking positions outside the President House, now Major Abdul Rashid, he started calling different people for help or to know or to determine that what really is happening. Major Abdul Rashid, first of all, he called General Ziaur Rahman and found him sleeping. When General Zia was General Zia woke up and talked to Abdul Rashid, and Abdul Rashid told him the entire thing that this happened, about all the developments, and requested his presence in the President House. And General Zia's response, as always, General Zia's response was, "I'll look into it," and then he dropped the call. Before Abdul Rashid could say anything, he just dropped the call. Now, Major Abdul Rashid, he called Brigadier Khaled Mosharraf, and their conversation was like this. Major Abdul Rashid asked, "Sir, what's happening?" In response, Brigadier Khaled Mosharraf said, "You tell me." Rashid briefly told him about the infantry withdrawing from the President House and then asked, "What do you think? What is there to think?" Khalid retorted, "What was expected earlier has started. I'm going out now. You wait there. I'll call you back later." So they have kind of hot argument on the phone. But by now it was quite obvious that it's Khaled Mosharraf who is behind the coup, and that's why he has withdrawn his people from the President House. Later, Abdul Rashid also called Air Vice Marshal, but he refused to come to the President House. He also called Bengal Rifles, but there was no response from there. Then Major Abdul Rashid called General Osmani. General Osmani was an important figure in the military and as well as in the politics. So we'll talk about his personality in some other video, but at the moment he had served as the Commander-in-Chief of Mukti Bahini and Bangladesh Armed Forces, and he is known as the father of Bangladesh Army, and then he also served as the President's advisor for defense. So when he called General Osmani and briefed him about all the situation, whatever happened in President House, and briefed him about all the developments, and requested his presence in the President House. So General Osmani was okay for coming to the President House, and he said he would try his best to arrive. General Osmani, he could see soldiers running outside in the streets, and he did not have the car to go immediately to the President House. But in order to help President, he telephoned and ordered the Bangladesh Rifles to send two battalion. It's not sure that what happened. Apparently, those instructions were aborted somewhere down the line because no units turned up for the security of President House. Then General Osmani called General Ziaur Rahman, and this time call was picked by Khalida Zia, wife of General Ziaur Rahman. General Osmani requested that he want to talk to General Ziaur Rahman, but Khalida Zia said that he cannot come to phone because there is some problem, and he cannot talk to you on call. Now after that, when General Osmani was unable to talk to General Ziaur Rahman, he called Brigadier Khaled Mosharraf. When Khaled Mosharraf received his call, General Osmani said, "Khaled, what the hell are you doing?" And in response, Khalid said, "The tanks are adopting the threatening posture." Then Osmani said that, "What threatening posture? You pull back your infantry and I'll assure you that the tanks won't do anything." And Khalid said, "Don't worry, I'll sort it out." So now it was clear that it's Brigadier Khaled Mosharraf who is doing everything, who is planning a military coup. But it was still not clear that why General Ziaur Rahman was not unable to talk, or why he was not unable to come to the President House and they couldn't get to talk to him. Shafat Jamil, he also did not like the majors. So Shafat Jamil and Khaled Mosharraf, they started planning. In result of that plan, Shafat Jamil ordered Major Iqbal, company commander of 1st East Bengal Regiment, to withdraw the troops from the President House. So that was the reason why there were no troops outside the President House. On the other side, Captain Hafizullah was sent to detain General Ziaur Rahman. When Captain Hafizullah reached at General Zia's, he stormed into General Zia's house. General Zia, who was already awakened by Major Abdul Rashid's call. When he saw Captain Hafizullah there, he said, "Captain, what are you doing here?" He pointed the gun on General Zia's head and said, "Sir, you are under arrest. Please don't do anything." Hafizullah detained Ziaur Rahman in his bedroom and he cut the telephone lines from there. But he did not know that that telephone line is just an extension of the main line which is in another room. That's why when General Osmani called General Ziaur Rahman, it was Khaled Zia who received the call from another room.